In the heart of the dense, uncharted woods of the Black Pine Forest, a group of 4 hikers named Emma, Mark, Liam, and Sarah ventured far from the beaten path, seeking the thrill of untouched nature. The sun was setting, casting long shadows through the trees, when they stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin, hidden like a dark secret among the thicket. The cabin looked abandoned, its windows boarded, and the door hanging off its hinges. Curiosity piqued, they decided to explore, hoping to find shelter for the night. The air around the cabin felt heavy, as if it whispered warnings they were too eager to ignore. Inside, the cabin was a scene from another time: rustic furniture, cobwebs draping from the ceiling, and an old fireplace with ashes still warm. But something was off. The walls bore strange, crude drawings, and the air carried a faint, nauseating scent of decay. Before they could ponder their findings, the door slammed shut with a force not their own. Panic set in as the sound of footsteps, not quite human, echoed from the shadows. They realized too late that they were not alone. From the dark corners, figures emerged, wild, feral, their eyes glinting with hunger in the dim light. These were not mere dwellers of the forest. They were cannibals, survivors of some forgotten lineage, living off the land, and those unfortunate enough to cross their path. The hikers ran, their screams lost in the dense foliage. They scattered, hoping separation might save 1 or 2, but the cannibals were too familiar with their domain. One by one, they were caught. Emma was the first, her cries echoing as she was dragged back to the cabin. Mark tried to fight, but his strength was no match for their savagery. Liam and Sarah didn't get far. The forest was a maze, and the cannibals knew every twist and turn. Back at the cabin, the horror unfolded. The hikers were bound, their fates sealed, as they watched the cannibals prepare their gruesome feast. The next day, the cabin returned to silence, smoke rising from the chimney, a macabre signal of the night's events. Search teams combed the woods for weeks, but no trace of the hikers was ever found. The forest swallowed their memory, and the case grew cold. 5 years later, a famous survival YouTuber known as Wild Jack decided to explore the legend of the Black Pine cannibals for his channel. Armed with cameras, he ventured into the heart of the forest, his footage capturing the eerie beauty and the whispering winds of the woods. He found Emma's backpack first, its contents scattered, a chilling reminder of the lost. Following the trails, he stumbled upon the cabin, its presence even more foreboding in daylight. Jack, with his usual bravado, entered to document what he believed was just an old tale, but as he filmed inside, the same shadows stirred. The cannibals, having grown in number, were waiting. His camera caught the glint of their eyes, the last moments of his bravado turning into terror. His final video ended with a scream, the camera falling to capture only the ceiling of the cabin, now stained with new blood. His disappearance sparked renewed interest, but like the hikers before him, Wild Jack was never found. The cabin in the Black Pine Forest remained a dark legend, a warning whispered among those who dare to tread too deep into the unknown, where nature's beauty hides its darkest secrets.